If you're one of the lucky ones to get one of the new next-gen consoles, you're probably going to want a new TV or a gaming monitor that goes along with it. Now, obviously, my channel is more geared towards the people that want the monitors, although I do make content on TV side of things. But here's the thing, we're talking about HDMI 2.1 gaming monitors right now. And the truth of the matter is, it's a complicated answer on whether or not you should actually wait to buy one of them or if you should just not buy one at all. Now, obviously, this is new tech, and new tech inevitably becomes the future of whatever it was before. I'm not denying that HDMI 2.1 gaming monitors are going to be the future, but for right now, is it really worth getting one? We're going to talk about that right now. With literally anything in life, there's going to be pros and cons to whatever product you're buying or whatever thing you're about to do. So some of the pros to having a 4K at 144Hz gaming monitor is going to be the image quality, obviously. It's going to be much more crisp than a 1080p or 1440p panel. Everybody already knows that, that's why you're buying it. And you can competitively game at a high resolution. So if you're playing like an FPS game, you're going to be able to see the enemies way more clearly than if it was going to be 1080p. Or 1440p, and you don't have to sacrifice that high resolution for frame rates. And another thing is, when you're playing games that are more story based and you like having that high resolution and 60 FPS isn't enough for you, it's going to be really immersive. Speaking from experience, if you're playing something like Horizon Zero Dawn on your PC and you're playing at 4K 144Hz, that's going to seem so much more crisp than 4K at 60Hz. Now, you can make the argument that something like Horizon Zero Dawn doesn't need to be at 144Hz. And yeah, you're right, but just experience it. It's a treat. The eye candy you're going to experience with the smooth frame rates is unmatched. Now, obviously, that's if you have a good enough rig, but if you have it, why not experience it? Now, that's the extent I can really think of for the pros. Some of the cons are going to be that it's really expensive. These gaming monitors are priced at anywhere from $600 to $1,500 to maybe even $2,000. So they're really expensive. Much more expensive if you were to just get a 1440p at 144Hz gaming monitor or a 4K 60Hz gaming monitor. The cheapest gaming monitor that's HDMI 2.1 is the Gigabyte M28U at the time of this recording. It's at only 28 inches, so really, do you need 4K at 28 inches? My opinion, I don't think so. That's way too small for 4K. You're probably not going to notice the difference between 1440p and 4K. But I know they are coming out with a M32U, so that might be worth looking into. I'd probably guess that's going to be around $800. But another thing is, you're going to need to upgrade your PC hardware. If you're not a console gamer and you're on PC and you want to be playing at 4K 144Hz, say you're playing something like Overwatch that's going to be really easy to run at such a high frame rate and resolution. You're probably only going to need like a 3060 to do that. But if you're trying to play, again, Horizon at 4K 144Hz, I don't think that game has DLSS, so you're going to have to power all the way through it, which means you're probably going to need something like a 3090. And for the majority of people out there, they can't spend $1,000 on a monitor than $1,500 on the graphics card alone. Now, most of my subscribers are console gamers, so they're looking for these HDMI 2.1 gaming monitors for their consoles. And the thing about that is, sure, if you're playing something like Halo Infinite, it's going to do 4K at 144Hz, but most games will be doing 1440p at 144Hz, especially as the generation goes on. Right now, if you're playing competitive games, you can probably get away with 4K 144Hz, but again, as the generation goes on, games are going to get way more demanding, and you're probably not going to be seeing such high frame rates at the resolution you want. I know AMD is coming out with their new FSR technology that's going to help with that, their upscaling technology, but I still wouldn't keep my hopes too high. I think the consoles are around 2080 Super graphics card level, and a 2080 Super definitely can't do 4K 144Hz for demanding games. So you'd probably leave that up to less demanding games like Valorant or, again, Overwatch. Now, as I said before, another con is at less than 32 inches, you're really not going to be able to tell a difference. And that's just the simple fact of it. I have a 32-inch monitor, and it looks almost the same as my 4K at 55-inch TV, except when I get like really close to it. So unless you're like getting super close to your 32-inch monitor, it's really not that big a deal. Sure, you can tell a difference with text and stuff, but for gaming, you're not going to be able to tell a difference with anti-aliasing turned on, or if you have DLSS turned on. And for consoles, if you're playing at 32 inches, maybe it's worth getting. You could probably tell a difference. I don't know, that's really a gray area. But for instance, my monitor is 1440p 144hz, and I'm perfectly happy with that. I know the PS5, I don't think it can do 1440p 144hz right now. I think it does something like downscales from 4K. But the Xbox Series X can do 1440p at 144hz. And the price of this monitor that I'm using is only $250. So big difference between that and a $600 M28U. So really, if you need a monitor that's like huge, like the Aorus F43U, then yeah, I would say go for a 4K 144hz monitor, especially if you have the money. But if you're at something like 32 inches and below, I really don't think it's worth it. And to be honest, some people might argue anything above 32 inches is considered a TV. I'm not too sure if I agree with that or not, but some people like to say that. Anyways, give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more monitor content. And let me know what you guys think about this whole monitor situation below. Are 4K 144hz monitors worth it to you? Is the price tag worth it? Or should you just get a 1440p 144hz monitor?